Hey everyone, this is Farhan. I've been living in New York City for 7 years now, and I remember moving here from Mumbai was a big deal for me, and I understand how overwhelming it can be for newcomers to settle in. So I have a special guest with me here today who's a born and raised New Yorker. So Anthony, welcome.
Thank you, Farhan. So, I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised in the Bronx, and the way that we know each other is that we both went to NYU here for our master's degree.
Yep.
And yeah, so he invited me over on here to give you some tips and tricks and things to know about New York City. Should you come over here for study, even live here? So, thanks for having me, Farhan.
Of course. Let's dive in. So the first question I have is, what are the biggest misconceptions that people have about New York City or New Yorkers in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think definitely one of the biggest misconception is that New York City is just Manhattan. I think you probably have, probably based on your own experience, you probably have run into that, or friends that just think, okay, I'm in New York City, just Manhattan, and never venture outside. And so, and as we are both went to NYU, many of even our friends have never gone to the Bronx up until it's their graduation at New York State.
That's true.
So, definitely one of the biggest misconception is that New York City is just Manhattan. You have the different boroughs like Bronx or the Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn.
Yep.
And they each offer their own unique experiences, restaurants, cultures that you can really take part in. I think aside from that, like other misconception is that I would say the biggest misconception is just New York City is just Manhattan.
Right. From my own experience, when I moved in here, obviously I had the same misconception, so I was only checking out places in Manhattan, for example, at Times Square and Statue of Liberty and Central Park. But then I ventured into Queens, this neighborhood called Jackson Heights, and I was amazed. I just couldn't believe how diverse it was, because it was as if I was in a new country, because you cross every street, the dominating culture changes. So like one street is Ecuadorian, one is Colombian, one is Bangladeshi, one is Indian. So, and actually it is the most diverse region on the planet.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean we can fact check it, or in the comments, fact check this.
Yeah.
Definitely, as you said, Queens is definitely diverse. Flushing, Jackson Heights. If you go to Brooklyn, you've got Dumbo, and you've got, or if you go even deeper into Brooklyn, you'll face other places that you won't find, let's say, in Manhattan or in the Bronx, and vice versa.
Okay. I guess the second question is, what's the best way for people to navigate the subway or just public transportation in general?
So to start with navigating the subway or even buses, public transportation, utilize Google Maps first and foremost. It usually gives you accurate information, how to get to places, etc. But don't really use it to the most extent, because sometimes it would just give you the one train to take, and it might take you a long time. Because we have here in New York City, we have both local and express trains, and so sometimes Google Maps will just give you a local train, which will stop at every stop until you get to your destination. So as you're taking the public transportation, taking the subway, be mindful of the different lines that are available. So when you see, I could take express train, it'll save me 6 stops. Make that switch from the local to express. So just keep that in mind as you go. Second is to also use transit app. I use transit app because one, it does tell you when to leave, when to go to catch a train. And it also pulls in information from my MTA. So the MTA is the service provider for the public transportation, buses, subway. It's the one that I usually use the most, and it's also community driven, meaning that people who use the app can give updates so for example, if a bus is really there versus it's supposed to be there at 5:15, but instead it shows up at 6 p.m. So at least you would know ahead of time based on other people using the app and their feedback to then to catch a bus or change your navigation plans.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's a good tip there. So Google Maps definitely is not accurate, and it doesn't make a distinction between the local train and an express train. And another way to actually not sound like a tourist is that I've heard a lot of people refer to the subway lines as like a blue line or an orange line
Oh,
or a
gosh.
yellow line. So just remember, the lines are either alphabets or numbers. So if it's the blue line, just don't say blue line. Say A, C, or the E train. If it's a yellow line, just say Q or the N or the R.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't want to sound like a tourist, don't go by the colors. Go by the actual numbers or alphabet.
And one thing I want to add is also you can use your credit card or phone to tap, so you don't have to buy a Metro card, or if you want to buy a card, you can buy the Omni card and then just reload money onto it. Because prior to the Omni card and credit card tapping, we used to have the Metro card, which
Yes.
I'm sure you were there. I mean, it still exists. It's not like we're old, but
Yeah.
unless you swipe the Metro card at the right pace, meaning like you don't do it too fast, if you don't do it too slow, then it won't let you go through the turnstile.
Yeah, swipe it like a New Yorker. It's going to be preserved in the museums of New York, because this is going to be phased out eventually and be replaced with tap and Omni cards.
Yeah, and believe it or not, they're still giving away kind of like
Yeah.
branded ones. Like sometimes they'll have Supreme on it,
Yeah.
or some brand partnership like they'll do with the MTA to give out
Yeah.
Metro cards. But yeah, I mean, you don't need to stress about it. If you just rushing to use the subway or just want to use convenience of a credit card, just tap and you go, just like the rest of the world at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. Moving on to the next question. What's the best way to make friends, or let me put it this way, what's the best way to network in this city? It's a big city.
Okay. I mean, I'll answer this in two parts. So first is in terms of you planning ahead. So like planning to go to an event, doing your research ahead of time to see where you can meet people of similar interest. And then the second part is somewhat of a more spontaneous way to making friends or just networking in general in New York City. So first one is you can use apps like Meetup. I don't know if you use that.
I have used Meetup in the past, yes.
So it's very useful so that you can really target a community of people that have similar interests with you. So if you're into, let's say, programming, dancing, singing, etc., or just you want to meet other people similar your own age, it's a good way to find a place and time and meet those type of people as you wish. So using Meetup, or ask your friends. Like they usually have their own events, or if they're not hanging out with you, they're probably hanging with someone else. So see if you can join like their events or their hangouts. And then the second part, the more spontaneous, is just go to your local cafe shop, go to a bookstore, or just even on the street. If you see someone with a cute dog, give them a compliment and start a conversation. I found that I mean, it won't work all the time. I mean, in both cases. So like if you pre-plan and you meet someone to network or spontaneously, you may not always see them again. But you eventually meet people that also are interested in you, that also share your similar hobbies, and you can then make plans to see each other and hang out. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, since we both went to NYU, I like to sign up for alumni events.
Right.
I can meet new people that I haven't met during my time at NYU.
And we both still go to those events.
That's you can always catch me, every other month or a couple of weeks. I definitely do attend those events. So, or just if you go to a park, see if someone's reading a book, just say, hey, what are you reading? And either they'll tell you, you can engage and talk to them, or they say, I want to read my book.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
In a classic New Yorker way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you kind of learn that way, and don't feel discouraged. I mean, it's it might take a couple of no's, but there will be someone that will say yes, and sometimes that person will be grateful that you actually took initiative. Like you said hello, like I imagine what we would have done if I didn't meet you. Maybe I would have never even gone to this concert or this cafe I never even heard about. So it really brings an opportunity for you to connect with people, learn something new about them, and grow your social circle.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if I want to offer my own opinion on this. So when you mentioned, approaching strangers, I do understand why some people are hesitant to do it, especially if they are new to the country.
Yeah.
And they're from different cultures, like especially from the Eastern Hemisphere. It's not the norm to like walk up to strangers and talk to them, especially if you belong to opposite sexes.
Yeah.
So that's where people are hesitant. But in America, it's the norm. You can just chat up with strangers and say hi and hello, and it depends on you how you want to end the interaction, whether you want to exchange the contacts or meet up some other time. You never know, maybe you might meet your business partner, maybe you might meet your life partner in a cafe or in a park. You never know, life is full of surprises. And the second thing I wanted to mention is that people do need to step outside their comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely.
What happens is when people come here for grad school, right? This has been my observation. A lot of people will often hang out with their friends from back home, their friends from back in the university where they went to undergrad for. So they'll hang out within the same social circle and they don't venture out. So what I would suggest is, if you're at a big university like NYU or Columbia, go to club fairs, join different clubs, and interact with students from different majors. Like if you're doing computer science, don't just talk to computer science students, talk to students who are in electrical or MOT or construction management or whatever. And yeah, like you mentioned, meetups. Like when I came in here, I wanted to improve my English, so I went to those meetups, and I wanted to learn Spanish, so I went to those meetups. Yeah.
Actually, like you do make a great point about stepping out of your comfort zone, especially in New York City. Will force you to do that to some point, and you should also take advantage of it. And it's a way that you grow. I mean, it's not always going to be successful, and that's fine because when it is successful, it really changes your life.
It does.
I mean, you meet someone that's amazing. You go to a new place you've never been to, and even personally for me, I also saw the same observation that when I see, let's say, international students when they come here, they usually stick with their own group.
Clicks.
Their own clicks. And not to say that's all of them, but these are certain things that I also notice as well. Like because even I want to interact with them. But something that's hard when first you have the language barrier because they're kind of in their own bubble. But then you also meet those that say, hey, I came to New York City because I wanted a different experience.
Exactly.
And this is my chance to do it. Because I can always go back home and still talk to the same people, right? So definitely take advantage of your time here. Like step out, and I also want to share because I have friends that didn't take advantage of it, and they also regret it.
They regret it now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like maybe those 2-3 minutes of discomfort. You rather do that versus like a lifetime of regret. And it's only 2-3 minutes of discomfort. I mean, after that, it's like the plus is wow. Like you kind of like created a whole branch of a reality that may have never existed. That versus you just carry on your life and nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just when you mentioned language barrier, the only way to overcome your language barrier is to speak with native speakers. That's how you learn. And I think a lot of people are shy. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. If your grammar is incorrect or if you don't have strong vocabulary, like no one is going to judge you. Like trust me.
Exactly. Like I mean, we still understand what you're trying to say, and we're also patient about it. I mean, even here in New York, we have many cultures, so we understand that people like English is not their first language. And there's always, I mean, we have Google Translate. If it really comes down to it, we have Google Translate to help us out.
All right. So next question: how do you balance work and life in a city as fast-paced as New York City?
Yeah, so definitely it can get very hectic or even overwhelming. That time can just go right by as you're just going to work, maybe hanging out with friends for the weekend, and then going back to the same norm once again for that Monday that we all dread, like going back to work, etc. What I found, at least that works best for me, is to make plans during the week. Don't wait until just the weekend to do fun stuff, hang with friends, etc. Take time to say, okay, on Monday I want to go to this new restaurant that I was researching. Let's see if I can find friends that I can plan with. If you can make and coordinate a meeting with colleagues across the world at work, you can make plans with a friend, or even just go solo. Like it's also like sometimes take yourself out so you can break yourself out of that pattern of just repetitiveness.
Yep.
And then now oh, this restaurant is awesome. So next time I come, maybe I'll come with friends, and I could be the person that recommended even to them. I also use ClassPass. No, they're not sponsoring this. But if you want to, you can always
I wish
reach
they
us.
did.
So ClassPass, I find it very useful. So just a quick explainer on it. You pay for a membership. You get a number of credits that you can use towards, let's say, a gym workout, to yoga, to salsa, to even like if you want to get food nearby. So it's a good way to plan or get part of your plan for that week. So Tuesdays, I might plan to do rumble boxing, for example, like a HIIT workout. And so by doing this, like using ClassPass, coordinating with my friends, try to make plans throughout the week, at least, get out of that mundane working and, being lost in the sauce, if you will, during that week. And then maybe Saturday, take some time to self-reflect. What do I want to work on in the next week? There's some hobbies, for example, I want to learn Chinese right now, and so I make an effort to hold myself accountable to, okay, like what did I do during this week? Did I make time to study for Chinese? Did I schedule a meetup to exchange speaking in Chinese? So really make plans and things you want to achieve during the week.
Right.
So then once you reach that weekend, you feel like, oh, okay, like I don't have all these things I need to do. Like you've done it, and you actually see yourself growing. And then before you know it, maybe 3-6 months, you might find you could do a career change based on what you've been working on. You can gain access to a certain thing that you probably couldn't do before. And so just really take advantage of the week and not try to get lost doing the same thing. I know it can be difficult. I know some work can really make you work until nighttime, etc. But try at least accomplish one thing during. Look forward to a Monday, because you made plans, to hang out with a friend, eat at a new place, etc.
And I mean, look, you live in the greatest city in the world where there's so much to do that even if you did a single thing for the rest of your life, every single day, your entire life will still fall short. So you're just lucky that you're living in the city. And like you said, once you graduate, you won't get as much.
Like what time? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. That was for those of you at home. Usually during an hour, there's like a bell that rings to tell you that it's 1 o'clock, or if there's 2 bells, it's 2 o'clock. So as you can tell, it's 1 o'clock because it only rang once. We're standing in front of a bell.
All right. So look, as long as you're studying, whether it be for bachelor's or master's or whatever, if you're in a university, obviously you have a lot of time on your hands to pursue other things other than studies. Sometimes you can get a lot of assignments, you'll be buried in doing your assignments or studies or whatever, but I think you should always find time to do something outside of work or study, because that's just gonna enhance your experience of living in this city.
For sure. I mean, work will always be there for you. But the fun may not be. And especially as you get older, sometimes it's better to do it now. But also balance it out. I mean, you don't want to go too crazy and have fun and then now you're just working forever. So just find those pockets of time or make those pockets of time and have a little fun here and there. And because it will make you part of like a well-rounded person.
Exactly. Next question. How should someone go about finding housing or narrowing down on what neighborhoods they want to live in?
So, in terms of finding a place to stay, it only depends on how much money you want to spend on to live in a shoebox. Because in New York City, we're like the money that you pay for, you're not gonna get a huge space. Like you're gonna be maybe in a shoebox, maybe because especially if you want to split it with other friends, roommates, it's not gonna be like the best thing ever. But just to set your expectation. So, but first, like as I mentioned before, like I live here, so I never really sought out to rent a place or find roommates, etc. But based on my friends' experiences, what I've seen is that first talk to your friends, see, because they're also probably trying to find a place to live. Do your research on neighborhoods that you're interested in to get a feel of what restaurants, what activities, how far it is from work to or to school. And see, and also obviously keep in mind your budget, how much you want to spend. And then one other thing is subway lines or your transportation. See what's convenient means to get to where you need to go. Aside from that, you should also consider. I mean, Manhattan is going to be very difficult to find a place. So think outside, maybe Queens, maybe Brooklyn, maybe even outside. So maybe New Jersey, like you have very nice places. Especially, it's a good way to get a break from New York City to get that breath of fresh air. But then also you can always go back into New York City when you need to go to work or school.
Yeah. I mean, look. Me as an international student coming here in 2017, obviously finding housing was difficult, but at the same time, I did have a lot of resources on my hands. For example, especially students coming from India, they have these WhatsApp groups where everybody texts about the availability of whether they're subleasing their own space, or everybody texts about their requirements. Hey, I'm looking for a house in this neighborhood, that neighborhood. And when people come to NYU 10, then they usually live in Bay Ridge. Bay Ridge is a very nice neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, look, what neighborhood you want to live in is entirely up to you. If you like partying too much, you can live in East Village, but just keep in mind you're going to pay a lot of money to live in a shoebox if you live in East Village. If you are somebody who likes a quiet and peaceful life, despite living in the city, you can move to Brooklyn or Queens. And yeah, just don't shy away from trying the outer boroughs. Like, just don't restrict yourself to Manhattan. There's a life outside of Manhattan. Final question, and most important, because I'm a foodie myself, so this is really important. Do you have any hidden gems for food in New York City?
I mean, if it was hidden gems, I'm not telling you. But because it's only you, I will tell you.
Yeah.
And the folks back home. So definitely, there's a lot of places in New York City. If we're starting, let's say Queens, Flushing is a must-go. There are many places you can try. One of the places that I like, especially in Queens, in like Jackson Heights, is Burrito India. Very good tacos. Make sure you get it with the consomme because you can dip it in and eat it. Very good flavor.
You know what? Their vegetarian tacos are so good, man.
Vegetarian? Oh.
Yeah, they put. I think they put pineapple. So good.
I get it with beef, so
Yeah.
it's nice. Okay. Yes, you have that. I like Ethiopian food because I'm also Ethiopian. So I definitely recommend Awash, AWASH. They have locations in Upper West Side, near Columbia, or in also East Village, Brooklyn. Also like to frequent a lot Mighty Quinn's Barbecue. Really good brisket sandwich. If you need late night eats, something no hassle, 7th Street Burger.
Oh man, 7th Street is the best.
Make sure you get it with the ghost pepper sauce.
Oh man, yes.
Sometimes it can be greasy, so just give you a little expectation. But most of the time, it's a hit, just very quick and go. And then because you're in New York City, there's a lot of first restaurants here in America.
Yes.
So for example, Lombardi is the first pizzeria in America. Next to Lombardi, I would also recommend Juliana and Grimaldi. Yeah, both they're in Dumbo, next to each other. But the quick story with Juliana and Grimaldi is that Grimaldi was the guy, Patsy Grimaldi. He opened the restaurant. Then, because of I think legal or investment issues, he had to leave that company, and he wanted to start a new pizzeria, but he couldn't use his name. So he used his mother's name, Juliana. So. I mean, I would recommend you go to Juliana because you would say that's the original because that was him. But you can't go wrong with other pizza, and it's also a good treat. Get it to go, walk by near a park. You get a good feel of the bridge. And I'll leave it at this. Chances are you can just Google best and insert pancakes, waffles, brisket
anything.
sandwich, anything, and you will find a place in New York City, and that someone else has tried, etc. And then you can go there and try it for yourself.
Yeah.
And also trust to get friends as well.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes like we do have ratings on restaurants like A, B, like for their cleanliness, etc. And sometimes you can your friend's recommendation is probably better than let's say reviews that you see online.
Yeah.
Trust it. It's going to be a fun thing where you explore the many restaurants that we have here in New York City. But those are some of the restaurants that I like to go to that I frequent a lot, and highly recommend.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's so many options here. You might be wondering, what's the best pizza? I don't think there's a specific answer because everybody is going to give their own opinions. What's the best pizza? You ask everybody, the answer is going to change from person to person. So I guess just stick to what you like and, form your own opinions based on what you try. And
Am I one more thing?
yeah,
Definitely try chopped cheese because you're in New York City.
yes, classic New
So
York.
try chopped cheese. You can go to Hodge. It's on 125th Street or so. He was the guy that made chopped cheese.
Okay.
But called Hodge, H-A-J-J.
That's HHA. Okay.
Yeah, or I think it's Sky Deli, Hodge, Sky Deli. Just if you Google chopped cheese origin, you'll find the guy. I usually get it without cheese, so like chopped cheese, no cheese. But definitely try that. I'll give you the New York title. No, that'll be too much. But you get some street cred for eating some chopped cheese.
Yeah, I mean, look, the chopped cheese is an iconic, New York sandwich. And if you don't eat beef, they also have a vegan option.
Yeah, they have vegan option as well. And one last thing, I know like I'm adding a lot of one last thing.
Alright, keep adding.
You probably watch a lot of movies, right?
Yeah.
So if there's restaurants that you see there, check them out.
Yeah.
For example, Cat's Deli, that's the famous one where Harry met Sally that everyone goes to because of it.
Yeah.
And was it Joe's Pizza? Or
Joe's Pizza.
Was Spider-Man?
Spider-Man,
Yeah,
yeah.
Spider-Man as well. And Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
OG Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's many films around here. Like, just see what inspires you, and go visit a restaurant, learn about its origin. Because you'd be surprised. Like, there are many, like cappuccino, for example. We have Cafe Reggio by NYU where we are. That's also very first cappuccino in America. McSorley's.
McSorley's, yeah.
Very traditional pub. They were there before you were, including me, and so just as Farhan said, it's just there's so much to explore and get to know that every day won't be the same. So
Yeah. Also, the most important thing we forgot is the bagels.
oh,
New York City bagels are the best. It's because, I mean, I don't know if it's true, but the way the government markets it is as if like the water that we get here is
the water, yes.
Right?
Even actually, NYU, I think, did a research study on this.
They did?
So
Okay.
probably you can link it below or whatever, or you can search because NYU did an analysis because they want to know like which bagels are the best or what makes their bagel really great.
Yeah.
And like you said, water. That's what I heard. That's what water as well. But definitely try. You probably will see some different nuances, places. I mean, I've been to Montreal and like their bagel tastes different.
I've been to Montreal too. I forget the name of the place. Oh man. Forget it. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
So I actually did this.
Yeah.
I got a bagel from New York City and I smuggled it into Montreal.
Don't worry, like we'll just bleep that out so that you guys know what to go.
And then I compared the size of the bagel over there and the bagel here. The bagel from New York was, I would say, 25% bigger than the bagel in Montreal. So, it's an important distinction. And I mean, talking about food, don't forget street food. Street food is another, intrinsic part of New York culture. Like pretzel, although pretzel, you can trace the origins of pretzel to Germany, but people eat pretzels here.
Yeah.
Hot dogs.
That's right.
And then halal chicken over rice or lamb over rice or whatever over rice. You'll see a lot of halal trucks parked like literally in every corner of Manhattan. So
So just be honest, especially during warmer days, they have the street market.
Oh yes.
So, and they have it in different places, Bronx, Queens. Queens has like a night market.
Queen's Night Market. Yes.
And so it's a great way to really get a chance to taste multiple food and different food, and then kind of get to learn more about that neighborhood, more about which ones you like to visit at their restaurants. So definitely be on the lookout for Bronx Night Market, Queens Night Market, Smorgasbord, yeah. Even sometimes on Saturdays they'll close down a whole avenue, and it'll just be street vendor after street vendor, and really just take time to explore that. Like maybe $5, you get to try a different dish. So if you feel like overwhelmed to commute or walk over to different restaurants, going to these street markets, you can just taste a couple of few, and then later on decide which ones you want to go and sit down, eat, try different items as well.
Yeah, I mean also there are so many food influencers out here in this city. Like, do you have a specific food influencer that you follow, just like based out of say?
You mean like an influencer?
Yeah, like Instagram, like people just post about food and stuff like that.
I actually don't. I try, or usually I just let when I'm mindlessly scrolling on Instagram, those things will pop up, and then I'll favorite. For example, one of those steak and fries, like unlimited, those will pop up. I'm like, okay, I want to try that, and then I will go there. So I mean, Instagram, social media, it will. If you're not trying to reach out and find or like research, it will come to you.
It will come to you. Yeah, I mean these restaurants and these new places are actively engaging influencers, paying them just to market their product. So it's gonna come to you eventually. If you use TikTok, if you use Instagram, it's gonna pop up on your feed for sure.
Sure, yeah.
You cannot escape that. Alright. So that is it. But is there anything else you want to talk about that I didn't cover in these questions?
I mean, I would just leave it with this: is that when you come to New York City, you should come with an open mind and be ready to get out of your comfort zone. I know it's going to be very challenging. I know there's going to be times where you have this internal resistance, like, should I go out? Is my English good enough? Are people going to be mean to me or rude to me? I know people say that New Yorkers are rude or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that we're very direct. And we build that confidence over time because you get out there, you see what works, what doesn't, you see what you like, what you don't like. So then you're able to quickly and confidently say, okay, I want this, I want to go to this, etc. And definitely it just comes down to being open-minded, putting yourself out there, understanding that not everyone's going to like you. That's just the sad fact of reality.
Yep.
But the ones that do, it'll be worth it when you meet them.
Yeah.
And they'll also be thankful. Just imagine, like, you're the reason why you meet your best friend. And forever you can hold that on.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, if I didn't say hello to you at that cafe, you wouldn't be here at this awesome restaurant that I know that you like, etc. Right? So just make sure that you do come out here, try to push yourself out that bubble, and just take it one step at a time. Like, small wins will get you the big win. Like, if it's just meeting through classmates, to co-workers, to social events, if you can just make one friend outside your bubble, that'll give you that momentum, build that confidence, and it's just and as they say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, and that's a lot because you build this confidence, you build the practice, and then now you know how to take a subway. Now like you're like a tourist, you know not to just go to Times Square or Central Park. Now you go to Hudson Yard, you go to Verity Park, Dumbo. Okay, those are still maybe semi-tourist places, but at least you're getting out there and you're discovering more about New York City and such.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, this city will make you tough because of the challenges that will be thrown at you. But as long as you can overcome those challenges and learn from them, you'll go. And speaking about getting out of your comfort zone, Funny story. I met my girlfriend 60 feet away from where we are sitting right now. It's
No.
because, yes, it's because I mustered up the courage to just go up and talk to her.
That's impressive. Like, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that spontaneous,
Yeah.
spontaneous thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even I would be cool that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have relationships that way. Like you
Yep.
build this. I mean, definitely good on you. Like that's very impressive. And just also imagine that he probably had to go through many no's.
Oh, yes,
Like
for sure.
And just think about it, it's not rejection. It's
Yeah.
redirection.
Three directions.
And eventually, like just think about it, you might be 2 no's or 3 no's away from being that person, like your partner as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's because you made him a tougher person.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yo, I can, like, let me go talk to the next one, and then there I am.
And I'm actually still with her. It's been 3 years. So.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think one more thing I want to add, like especially people, they're just not aware of their surroundings. When I see a lot of people, especially who are standing on the subway platform,
Oh, yeah.
or just like standing on the sidewalk, like it's so easy to just walk up to them because they're not aware. So I think definitely develop situational awareness and always look over your shoulder. And this is not something that's specific to New York, right? Go to any big city like London, Paris, everybody will say the same thing. So look, New York is not safe. Of course, there's problems in every city. You know, it's not a perfect city, but as long as you develop situational awareness and maintain that tunnel vision that New Yorkers talk about, I think you'll be fine. Well, Anthony, it's been a pleasure talking to you on this beautiful day in the middle of Manhattan.
Literally in the middle. Yeah, literally in the middle of Manhattan. Again, like also a pleasure to discuss these things with you. Farhan, thanks for having me on. Definitely check out more of his content. He's on YouTube, he's on Instagram,
And TikTok.
and TikTok too. He's on everything. He'll put his socials everywhere. Yeah. And then as a quick shameless plug for myself, because I'm also doing kind of like travel
Yes.
content as well. So if you want to check me out, it's Uncharted_Explorer. I go over foreign travel like in China, Thailand, Japan, Korea, and more. Maybe I'll do New York City, and you'll probably see him again on my channel as well.
Yes.
So definitely check us out. Get to learn more about New York City, or if you're going abroad, you can check us out for my videos as well. And again, absolute pleasure being on here. And welcome to New York if you guys do show up.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, take care.
Peace.